Hey guys, so in this video I want to talk about all the Sword and Shield sets and all of the top cards in each set for the most part, and just see how things have done over the past 12 months. Because I think a lot of this bull market is really thanks to Sword and Shield and how well Sword and Shield did, and a lot of that momentum has carried over into Scarlet and Violet. Obviously, the sets have just been fire as well. People really want to open the packs, but a lot of this did start with Sword and Shield, and obviously Sun and Moon before it, and I think a lot of people are forgetting about Sword and Shield. So in this video, I just want to review how well it's done, because I don't think people have realized how great of a year it's been for Sword and Shield, especially, since the past 6 months or so, people have kind of forgot about it. So this will be serving as a reminder. Anyway, starting off with base set. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through every set for the past year, take the percentages, and then just, talk about it towards the end. Base set's up 18.55% on the year, sitting around $335 a box. Rebel Clash is actually down 0.4% almost on the year. Nothing too crazy with Rebel Clash. Darkness Ablaze, one of the worst sets ever, and in Sword and Shield, horrific set. Nothing exciting in Darkness Ablaze. This box is up 14.19% on the month, or on the year rather, sitting around $150. Vivid Voltage, still in stock on the Pokemon Center, up 11.74% on the year. Then things start to get interesting. Battle Styles, the first alt art set, up 27.21% on the year. Chilling Rain, up almost 50%, up 49.49%. Evolving Skies, now Evolving Skies is obviously the big one, big hitter here, up 100.61%, almost 101% year over year. Insane growth for Evolving Skies. Fusion Strike, up 51.37% on the year. That's still incredible growth for the Gengar set right there. Brilliant Stars, kind of disappointed considering I own a lot of Brilliant Stars, how poorly it's done in relation to some other sets, but still up 32.2% on the year. Astral Radiance, fairly similar, up 34.42% on the year. Lost Origin, the second biggest set in terms of growth this year for Sword and Shield, up 81.43%. And then finally, Silver Tempest, surprisingly, up 46.88% on the year. Now, we will look at everything and do a breakdown later, but before I look at the altar cards, I just want to jump in here and say over 70% of you guys watching these videos still aren't subscribed to the channel, so if you're getting some value out of this content, I really appreciate it if you could subscribe and leave a like. It means a lot to me. But now moving in to the alternate art cards, starting off with the Tyranitar V. I did think about including the top hit from the first 4 sets in Sword and Shield, but I don't think it's super relevant, considering the alt arts are kind of the reason a lot of these, cards in general just popped off. They're rare and people want them because they're really good artwork. So Tyranitar V up 30.33% on the year, and considering the booster box was up 27.21%, that's a win for the alt arts. Blaziken up 59.66% over the past 12 months. That's much higher than the booster box. The Umbreon up 153.37% over the past 12 months. Insane growth for the Moonbreon there. That again is higher than the booster box return. The Gengar up 80.36%. That is higher than the Fusion Strike booster box as well. The Charizard from Brilliant Stars up 37.8%. That again is still higher than the booster box return. The Machamp from Astral Radiance up 46.84%. Another one where the alternate art card is higher than the booster box return. The Giratina only up 20.04% over the past 12 months. Obviously, the Giratina had kind of exploded outside of this 12-month window, so it's not surprising that it's actually only up 20% where the box is up 80%. But beautiful card, one of the most expensive in Sword and Shield. And then the Lugia up 36.94%, which actually isn't as high as the booster box. So you do have a couple booster boxes outperforming the top card in each set. So Silver Tempest, Lost Origin, and then maybe it's just those two. Was one I was missing? Lugia, Giratina, and I think that's it. So only a couple booster boxes outperformed the top cards. And obviously, if you guys know what you're doing with buying singles, you're buying PSA 10s or whatever, you can probably outperform booster boxes. But if you look at a lot of these graphs, like the Lugia, the Giratina, a lot of it's, and again, like it gets worse. We go down the line, the Machamp V, the Charizard, the Gengar, the Moonbreon, Blaziken, like a lot of these cards are very volatile. They're seeing huge spikes and then they're coming back down. So if you have the stomach for it, if you have the liquidity and you're able to stay solvent and stay in your products, and you don't have to sell right away. Maybe, sure, maybe you go with cards sometimes if you're feeling confident, right? But for me, I just like buying booster boxes. I think they're going to be a lot more stable over time. I think it's a lot easier to get involved in these sets, and it doesn't take a genius to get into these products and do well. But the point of this video is, is Pokemon investing really worth it, right? So if we look at the S&P 500 over the past 12 months, it's up 32.33%, which is really good, especially considering, you can get an index fund that tracks the S&P. You buy it on your phone, your computer, wherever. You don't have to store it anywhere. You don't have to worry about being robbed. You don't have to pay 15% selling fees when you go to sell your index funds. If your house burns down or there's a flood or a tornado, you're not going to lose your product. It's still gonna be there, right? So 32.33%, obviously we need to do much better than that in order for Pokemon investing to make sense. So if you look at all 12 booster box sets from Sword and Shield this year and you get the average, you're only getting 38.98% return, which is obviously higher than the S&P by about 6 percentage points, over 6.5. So not bad, right? Like that's pretty good. That's a solid difference. But once you consider selling fees and stuff like that, and storage and the risk and everything involved in it, right? The S&P 500 is definitely going to be a safer investment. Now, you can gerrymander the data to get a better number, and I obviously I do think it's gerrymandering because I think most people should just be investing into every set, get a piece of the pie because you don't know what's going to pop off. But I would say there's a lot of people in this hobby that know what they're talking about. They have expertise. They've been in the field long enough. They've seen what's a good set, what's a bad set. So if you pick and choose, right, and say you only invested into the alternate art sets, you bought only those booster boxes, right? So imagine you start at Battle Styles and you invested all the way up into Silver Tempest. These boxes over the past year are up 52.95, almost 53%. So that's a huge difference, right? And if you consider that Lost Origins up over 80%, Evolving Skies is up over 100, like the top hitters, Chilling Reigns at about 50, Fusion as well. So once you consider that the better sets that are obvious to most people are doing much better than when you get an average of everything, obviously you could throw 151 in here, some other sets like that are probably, if you bought UPCs or ETBs, you're probably up over 100% as well. That's why I think it's a good idea to buy into every set. But then when you know a set is strong, you know that it's, definitely going to be better than the average set, go heavier into it, right? Invest a bit more into it. I think that's fine. And again, this isn't financial advice or anything. This is just my strategy. If I know something's going to be good, I'm going to put more money into it. And if I'm not too sure, I'm just going to get my, case quantity or whatever, and then move on with my life. But that's a little bit of a breakdown for is Pokemon investing worth it. You guys let me know in the comments. I think for most people, if you're getting more than the S&P in terms of returns every year, and obviously the S&P 500 isn't going to track according to or Pokemon investing is going to track directly across from what the S&P does, right? Those are completely different markets. But if you're making more than you would in the S&P by a fair amount, it's probably going to be worth it, even considering selling, storage, and all of that. But you guys let me know in the comments down below what you think. And thank you again for all the support. You guys liking the videos, subscribing to the channel, leaving comments. And of course, if you're shopping, I have affiliate links down below. You guys that use those, I appreciate you a ton. But yeah, again, stay safe wherever you are in the world. Have a great weekend. Hopefully you guys have some good plans, something going on. Stay safe, stay responsible if you're drinking, and I'll catch you in the next one.